when Chinedu Okafor first stepped off the plane of JFK Airport. He had nothing but a worn leather bag, a borrowed winter coat, and a fire in his eyes. Back in Nigeria, he had been praised for his intelligence, told by teachers that he was destined for greatness. America, he believed, was the land where greatness was not just a dream, it was a guarantee. The early years were hard. Chinedu worked odd jobs, washing dishes in Queens, cleaning offices at night, and driving taxis on weekends. He sent money home to his mother, telling her not to worry, telling her that her son was building a future in America. But no matter how many hours he worked, success always seemed just out of reach. Rent ate up most of his paycheck, and he lived in cramped apartments with strangers, dreaming of the day he would have a home of his own. Then one night came. While cleaning an office in Manhattan, Chinedu overheard two brokers laughing about much money they made moving numbers around. They joked about people signing papers they didn't understand, and how the system was easy to play if you knew where to look. That night, something shifted. If the American system was a game, Chinedu decided he would play to win. At first, it was small, helping undocumented immigrants file fake tax returns, creating forged documents for free moving cash under the table. He justified it as helping his people. But the money came fast, and once it started, it was impossible to stop. By the time he was 30, Chinedu had reinvented himself as Charles King, a flashy real estate developer in Brooklyn. He drove a black Range Rover, wore Italian suits, and always carried a gold-plated iPhone. To the outside world, he was a success story, the immigrant who made it big. Behind the scenes, though his empire was built on lies, the condos he sold were part of a mortgage fraud scheme, fake buyers, stolen identities, and phony loan applications. Millions flowed through his shell companies, washed clean by wire transfer and offshore accounts. Chinedu wasn't just living the American dream, he was bending it to his will. But greed is a hungry beast and it always wants more. His turning point came where he tried to expand into Washington, D.C. A senator's aide offered him an opportunity to develop low-income housing projects in exchange for campaign donations. The deal would give him legitimacy, a seat at the table with the powerful. For Chinedu, this was the crown jewel, proof that he had arrived. What he didn't know was that people were already watching. Amara Lopez, a young investigative journalist, had been following strange patterns in real estate records. Empty condos selling for millions, mortgages approved under the names of dead people, money slipping in and out of accounts faster than it could be tracked. Her instincts told her it was bigger than a local scam. And when she traced the trail back to Charles King, she knew she had found her story. While Chinedu toasted champagne in rooftop lounges, Amara dug deeper, interviewing tenants, cross-checking documents, building a case that connected his glittering empire to a massive web of fraud. And then came the day it all unraveled. Federal agents raided one of his offices in downtown Brooklyn. Computers, files, everything was seized. Chinedu sat in his penthouse, staring at the skyline he once believed he owned. As the news blurred, Immigrant real estate mogul exposed in $50 million fraud scheme. His mother back home wept when she saw the story on television. To her, Chinedu had always been the boy who promised to make her proud. Amara's article won national attention. It wasn't just about one man, it was about the system of greed that let him thrive. The story went viral, sparking debates about immigration, ambition, and the shadowy line between hustle and crime. In court, Chinedu tried to defend himself. "I only did what America taught me to do," he said. "You all worship money. I just learned to play the game better than most." The jury didn't see it that way. He was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. And so, the American dream that once fueled his ambition ended in a cell, not with applause, but with silence. But his story still lingers, a cautionary tale whispered in immigrant communities, debated in classrooms and retold on YouTube and podcasts. But at its core, Chinedu's rise and fall is not just his own story. It is the story of how greed unchecked can turn dreams into nightmares.